Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Leo energy, and the top row is going to be high vibe Leo energy. The bottom row is going to be more worldly, kind of shadowy energy when we're in our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our more immature, indulgent nature. It could be a battle going on within yourself, or it could be that you're harnessing some high vibe Leo energy and some other people are harnessing some more shadowy Leo energy. If you're a Leo or cross watching for a Leo, listen to your intuition about the people in your life. Who in your life harnesses high vibe energy? Who in your life harnesses more worldly or shadowy Leo energy? Some people are struggling because they are kind of going back and forth. Other people have definitely picked a path. Some people are choosing, nope, I'm done with those old ways of being. I am going to listen to my intuition and love and believe in myself. And I'm not settling for less than I deserve. Some people have definitely picked their egoic, emotionally defensive, or materialistic or indulgent nature, and that's the path they've chosen. So, in the top row, we have two cards not showing themselves. And the reason for the reading is the King of Swords. The high vibe people are speaking their truth, and they're taking action in their life based on truth and love. I'm not going to indulge my own shadowy nature. I'm going to cut out whatever I need to cut out. If I used to sit in certain thoughts and emotions that weren't conducive to me moving forward, then I'm cutting it out. I'm going to see the truth. What is just and fair and loving and encouraging and supportive in my life to myself, and which people in my life are in high vibe Libra energy that are just and fair and open and honest and authentic. High vibe Leo energy is kind of about those energies being open and authentic and loving yourself and believing in yourself, seeing the truth, being enlightened to the truth. I have free will. I choose love. I could sit and wallow in my thoughts and my emotions and my fear, my insecurity, my past pain and heartbreak, or I can see the truth that some people I worked with in my life in the past weren't very loving, weren't very kind, could have been bossy and controlling. Some relationships didn't work out in the past because I was immature, I was indulgent, I was bossy, I was controlling. Whatever it is, it's seeing the truth. The truth sets us free. And so high vibe people, what other people don't know about them, because there might be some people who are maybe thinking they'd like to communicate with you. And some people don't see the truth of who you are. Other people are intuitive and they think they know the truth about you. And that's why they want to talk to you, because they might think you're someone that's just and fair and bold and brave and confident that they could work together with. And other people, kind of when people are in their shadow energy, for some, I kind of look at the King of Swords in shadow as kind of being someone who's kind of full of themselves. And they could think that you don't know the truth about who they are. And they could be in shadowy Aries, shadowy King of Swords, Libra energy, where they kind of think, of course, you'd want to be in a relationship with them. They think they have this belief about themselves that I'm just, I'm fair, I'm attractive or whatever. People would want to be in a relationship with me, male or female. But their judgment is being clouded by their ego or something, they're not listening to their intuition. And some of those people might want to communicate with you, but they don't realize you harness these energies in a high vibe way. And you've cut people out of your life who harness this energy in a shadowy way. And if they harness this energy in a shadowy way, you're going to cut them out of your life too and not be interested in being in a relationship with them. You've changed. You've tempered your fears, your insecurity, maybe your competitive nature, your egoic nature, whatever it was that you might have, in shadowy energy, this can be kind of having mental conflict about loving and believing in yourself. In the past, you might have gotten in relationships with people and you had mental conflict about being more bold and brave and strong in your Leo energy. Maybe you hadn't learned to love and believe in yourself and stand up for yourself and listen to your intuition and be more bold and brave and confident. And there's some people in the world who don't know that you've changed, that you're not the same person you were before, that you have tempered your fears and your insecurities, and you're more competitive, codependent, prideful, egotistical, or living more from your mind than your heart, or living more from your creative, passionate nature. You've learned lessons in both of those ways of being, and you've grown up and matured yourself. And some people want to be in a relationship with you because they sense that about you, that you're not who you used to be, that you are, even if, well, if they knew you, if they didn't know you before, their intuition is telling them that you're someone who looks at life from a higher perspective. You don't indulge in your more selfish, greedy, prideful, immature, manipulative ways of being, and they're attracted to you. They think you're someone they could have a just and fair and balanced relationship with. And the Two of Wands is about having a dream and wanting to take action to bring a dream into reality. And in order to bring that dream into reality, some people might communicate with you. But, like I say, some of the people, they still could have illusions about the world, like I'm all this, maybe I think I present this image to the world as like I have justice in the world. Look at me. They might be someone who's attractive. The Wands can talk about attractive. The King of Swords can talk about people who have a public persona, because Libra is kind of like our politician personality, people pleaser, gets along with people, people, it's that aspect of ourself that tries to get along with other people, to have balance with other people in a way. And someone might think that they have this image about them, and that because they have this public persona about them, and maybe they think they're charming or attractive or something, and if they have these things of the world that make them seem like I have accomplished like justice in the world, in high vibe, you want your divine inheritance, which would be being unstable and secure and loving and abundant and supportive and encouraging relationships. They might think they have those things, but really some of them only have the worldly aspects. They might have stability and security, but maybe they're live more from their mind than their heart, and they have these illusions about relationships, like people would want to be in a relationship with me because of these reasons, male or female. And some of those people might come talk to you and they don't realize that you've changed. Because shadowy people try to try to push your buttons. Are you kind of want these things of the world? If you got in a relationship with me, I could look like I'm about to have all my dreams come into reality. I seem to have this justice in the world. Like I've accomplished some type of balance of some sort in my life. And do you want those things? Would you like to be in a relationship? Do you have illusions about what it means to be in relationships? Are you still confused about the truth of who I am if it is someone that you know? Because the moon can talk about that. Do you see the truth of who I am? I try to present myself as someone, since we're talking about Leo energy, someone who's bold and brave and confident and warm and loving, that's just and fair, and Aries energy, kind of like bold and brave and confident. Is that how you view me? If you do, that'd be great. Especially if you knew me before, do you still have that illusion of me being that way? And if this is someone you knew before And even if it's not someone you knew before, if someone wants to approach you and you've dealt with people like that before and you're kind of intuitive, when we're young, we kind of have a lot of growing up to do and we're kind of naive about the world and we think everybody's on the same page as us and everybody views life like us. And then we get some life experience and we realize some people are all about themselves. It's all about their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego, and that they're kind of indulgent in a relationship. It's just about them, and that they live more from their mind than their heart. And when push comes to shove, they could be kind of full of themselves. And if they say something's just and fair, it's just and fair, even though it's not. And they can be a little bossy and controlling and emotionally detached. So whether it's someone you know from your past or someone new you're coming across, if they come with this shadowy energy, it might be because they think you're caught up in the illusion of the world, that you want to be in a relationship and indulge in a relationship for pride or ego or get the justice you think you deserve, and you're willing to settle for being in a relationship with someone who's in shadowy energy. And I think if any of them communicate with you, they're going to see that you are not who they thought that you were. That you're not someone who's in mental conflict and in your ego and in your competitive nature and in your prideful nature and all those things. You're someone who sees life from a higher perspective, and you are not operating from your egoic nature, that you're intuitive and you're bold and brave and you speak your truth. And if they want to be in a relationship with you, they're going to have to do that too. The illusion of pretending to be that way isn't going to cut it. I'm going to tuck those under there so I remember that those are flipped over. And some of you have been in relationships with people like that. You've cut those people out of your life. You could have had some people who harness shadowy Aquarius, shadowy Leo energy. Again, that can be people who are driven and motivated by the world. What they're motivated and inspired by is to look like a shining star in the world. They want people to look up to them and admire them. And that can be why they get in certain relationships. Are you good for my status and image? Would people look at me like I'm successful or something because I got in a relationship with you? Or they're also materialistic, and it's all about wanting to get in relationships with people so they look really successful in the world, and they operate from pride and ego. And then you realize when you get in a relationship with them that they're secretive, that they were hiding, that it wasn't love and truth that motivated them to get in a relationship. It was more about what they think is just and fair, and they think it's just and fair. In shadow, it would be about, in shadowy Leo, it's about trying to manipulate people to be in this illusion about who you are and confuse them about the truth of who you are, presenting yourself as being a certain way of being in the world where you're hiding that you're really more about yourself and your wants and needs and lust and greed. And then people who eventually listen to their intuition, who do this work within themselves to love and believe in themselves and get more balance within themselves and believe in themselves, and they get in a relationship with people like this, and eventually their intuition is telling them that this person is more all about themselves and their ego and their image and whatever, and not love. And the high vibe people end up speaking their truth. And that's when the shadowy people turn their back on them because they don't want to be in a just and fair and balanced and open and honest and loving relationship. They get hurt doing that. And they'd have to be just and fair in a relationship. And some of them don't want that. They want the scales to be tipped in their favor. And so then, because they have this illusion about what it means to be in relationships, you mean I got to be just and fair? I got to act with character and integrity? I got to speak my truth and, be just and fair and all those things and treat other people the way I like to be treated. That's when those people will turn their back on the loving people in their life, because they have this illusion about relationships that, I don't view relationships like that. I think it's more about me. And I need to go find someone who doesn't love and believe in themselves, who maybe doesn't view life that way, who wants to be in a relationship and stay in a relationship with me because of the ego and the image and the status and the money, or just doesn't love and believe in themselves, isn't willing to indulge me being bossy and controlling and all about myself. And so you've cut people like that out of your life, and you're listening to your intuition about people in your life who you think harness high vibe Aries and Libra energy, people who you think are bold and brave and truthful and honest and are motivated and inspired by love, who want to be in relationships based on love, who are bold and brave enough to be authentic and vulnerable and loving in a relationship. Some of you, if you haven't communicated with someone like that already, you might communicate with someone who's like that. And it could be someone that people don't know, that other people in your life might not know that this is someone that you think you could have a dream come into reality with, and you're just kind of listening to your intuition to see how things go in the relationship or if they'll respond back. For some of you, someone you might have communicated with might right now not be communicating with you because they're listening to their intuition for some of them. For others, and then you're just going to have to listen to your intuition about it. We can't stay waiting on people forever. And others of them that you thought would be someone who's like that, maybe they're not really who you thought they were, and they could have turned their back to you and not communicating with you because you might have viewed them as like a just and fair and loving person who believes in their dream, but they could have kind of got caught up in the illusions of the world or the addictions of the world, or might be in another loving relationship and you maybe didn't know that. And they're working on that and listening to their intuition about that. So regardless of what's going on and who communicates with you and who doesn't communicate with you, you're just going to move forward believing in your dreams, tempering your fears, your insecurities, listening to your intuition, taking bold, brave, confident action, speaking your truth, maintaining balance within yourself so you don't take like impulsive, reckless action out of fear or codependency or whatever, and to keep maintaining balance and knowing that if I keep living my life like that, I'm going to have my divine inheritance. I'm at least not going to be tolerating and enabling other people in their poor behavior. And I'll probably be working with other people in my life, between friends and family and siblings and parents and coworkers. I'll probably be working with other people who also are people who listen to their intuition, who are bold and brave to be just and fair in relationships, to not be selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical and manipulative, who also have a dream of being in relationships with people who aren't trying to manipulate and control them. Now, what are the shadowy people doing? We have these two cards not showing themselves, the Two of Pentacles, the Cancer Chariot card, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Aries card. And it's because of the Aries Emperor card. So this is kind of interesting. The reason for this reading up here, even though it's a Leo reading, they're harnessing high vibe Aries. And the people who might be operating from their shadowy, kind of more Leo nature, are harnessing shadowy Aries. And Aries and Libra are opposite on the zodiac wheel. They're kind of like aspects of ourself that we need to learn life lessons in. And we have to learn lessons about what it means to be more just and fair and balanced in the world. And the opposite of that is being caught up in our fiery nature, which can be, I want to look like a boss in the world, or I want it to be more about me, and I want to make decisions that are just best for me. I don't want to make decisions that are best for everybody affected by my decisions. So, right now, people in their Leo energy could be struggling about what they think is just and fair. Is it just and fair to treat other people the way I want to be treated? Am I willing to speak my truth? Am I willing to take action in my life to believe in my dreams and put in the work of bringing those dreams into reality? Or am I kind of in my ego and I want what I want? And basically, in our shadow energy is because we have to learn some lessons, and some people are having to learn lessons about letting their more egoic or passionate nature run their life, because it is about having balance in your life. High vibe people have probably already learned these lessons. And maybe with the Two of Wands, it is kind of about being balanced. Just like the Two of Swords is Libra energy, and in high vibe, that's about being balanced. I acknowledge I have this dualistic nature, and if I don't want one aspect of my dualistic nature to run my life off into the ditch, I have to maintain balance. And high vibe people have learned I need to maintain balance from an energy of truth and love and like acting with character and integrity, or I'm going to probably go learn some hard lessons in life. And there's some people in the world that are kind of right now learning a hard lesson about letting their more egoic nature or lustful or nature run their life. The things that motivate and inspire them, they've kind of tipped out of balance. So we have these two cards here. What they're not showing people, and they don't want people to know about them, is that they aligned with their more worldly nature. And they love aligning with their more worldly nature because the Four of Pentacles is Capricorn. Some of them could want to be in a relationship with a Capricorn, but they're in shadowy energy. Why do they want to align with their more worldly nature? Is it because they have fear and insecurities about speaking their truth? Is it because they don't want to be just and fair in a relationship? The Four of Pentacles can be, I have this way of viewing life or a way of being, and I don't want to let go of it. I don't want to learn lessons in life and detach from this way of living life. I have a way of living life and a way of thinking about life and a way of being and viewing life, and I'm more aligned with my worldly nature, and I haven't gotten balance within myself. I'm tipped out of balance, making the world or my indulgence or my ego or my emotionally defensive nature or my selfish, greedy, prideful, lustful, immature nature run my life. But I don't want people to know that. So what they're doing is they're juggling. They're trying to present themselves as being like this just and fair and bold and brave and authentic and loving person in the world. But they're really someone who holds back, doesn't like to open up, doesn't like to change, likes to keep doing life the way they've always done it. But they want people to get in a relationship with them and move forward with them in a relationship. They want the wheel of fate to go in their favor so that they can look like they're moving forward victorious and successfully. And most people kind of would like to enjoy the pleasures of being in a relationship. And they want those things. And they also might want to look like a boss in the world, Like, on one hand, there might be people in their life that are loving, but they could have kind of juggled those people because they're kind of more motivated and inspired by the world and their worldly nature, and might want to be in relationship with other people who are more aligned with their worldly nature. Why would that be? Either because they're fearful of love, or it would require them to speak some truth. They might have created some illusion. If they did have loving people in their life, because the Chariot card is Cancer energy about love and home and family, if they did have those people in their life that they could have moved forward with, there could have been something that happened that caused a problem in that relationship, and they would have had to speak the truth about it, and maybe they didn't want to speak the truth. And so the Moon card can be about trying to confuse people about the truth. And they might not have wanted to move forward with the loving people because maybe then they maybe didn't think that they'd have the things of the world that they want. They wouldn't maybe have all the money and materialism and status and image, or maybe then they wouldn't be able to indulge in things in the world if they kept moving forward with those people. So they could have kind of juggled that person, and then they could have juggled someone else and gotten in a relationship with someone else who, by worldly standards, looks very successful, who presents themselves as like a loving, balanced person. But if they're also in shadowy energy and more aligned with their worldly nature, they might be people who present themselves as loving, but, again, they're in their shadow, so they could be kind of emotionally manipulative, emotionally defensive, kind of selfish, kind of greedy, and maybe some people went to go get in a relationship with someone who was hiding the fact that they were kind of more selfish and greedy and materialistic and don't like to change, don't like to open up, didn't really want to move forward in a relationship. And maybe both, if they got in a relationship with another shadowy person, maybe both of them were indulging in it. I want to look like I'm moving forward. I want people to view me a certain way. I want people to view me as the victor. If they got out of one relationship and they came and got in a relationship with me, I want to look like I'm just like those loving, nurturing people they were in relationship with, and if they get in a relationship with me, it'll make me look that way. If this person moves forward with me, it maybe makes me look like I'm a more creative, inspired, more mature person than people might have viewed me as before, because needless, anyway, from either vantage point, whatever. Anyway, because some people, and then some people, they like to juggle people. They don't show people. Someone could love someone and they really want to be in a relationship with someone, but they're in shadowy energy. And instead of maybe go communicating, maybe speak the truth, act with character and integrity, and go speak the truth to someone they really want to be in a relationship with, shadowy people try to manipulate people and kind of get them in their ego to get them to do what they want because they don't want to humble themselves and maybe be vulnerable. So then they can juggle other people and get in a relationship with other people and move forward with other people, hoping that it will bother the other person and the other person will try to stop them from continuing to move forward with those people. It's kind of like to make them humble themselves. And it's kind of like, if you're not willing to humble yourself, then I just might keep moving forward, indulging in this relationship. And really, anybody who has somebody like that in their life, loving people don't try to manipulate you. They're truthful, they're honest, they do humble themselves, they do speak the truth. There's nothing wrong with humbling yourself knowing you acted with character and integrity and you're truthful and honest. And if the people you speak to and tell your truth to, if there's someone who, wouldn't you rather know the truth than be emotionally confused? Some of you, if you had someone do that to you in a relationship, or they did do it right now, you maybe spoke your truth. It's like, I want to put it out there. Are you willing to really put in work and effort with me? I'm emotionally confused why you're acting this way. It seemed like it was a just and fair and loving and passionate and, emotionally connected relationship. Why are you acting like this? And initially, you can cut people out of your life, and then, you might make that last attempt to clarify the confusion. Are you willing to speak the truth? This is like my last effort to communicate with you. And if you turn your back on me this time, which I guess you really shouldn't have to need a last effort, because if you were in the relationship and they turned their back to you, they kind of told you what their choice was. But you can always be hopeful, so you maybe do that. And then the person could have held back from you. And for some of you, the person who held back from you would might love you and might want to hold on to a relationship with you, but there are people who, go back and forth. It's like, oh my gosh, I could love you and I could want to be in a relationship with you, but I also don't believe in myself to believe I can manifest my dreams into reality. Or some people are so consumed with keeping up the Joneses, and sometimes, some people have way more than plenty, stability and security wise and financial wise, but it's like an addiction. Enough is never enough. And if there was someone else they could get in a relationship with, and it's kind of like, you know, I could have sex with them. And if they're willing to be in a relationship with me and move forward with me, well, then I wouldn't just look like a king of swords who looks like I have justice and fairness and balance in my life. I'd look like an emperor, like I'm a boss, like I'm a higher status. And because of that, those people were tempted by their shadowy nature. And why did that probably all happen in your life? For one, some of you high vibe people, you could have kind of had these dreams about relationships, and you kind of had illusions, and you kind of needed to learn some lessons that there is kind of more shadowy people like this. And maybe when you're in a relationship, you needed to learn to stand up for yourself and make sure a relationship is more just and fair and balanced, because you could have not been seeing the truth about someone, and the divine wanted you to see the truth, that you were kind of in a relationship with someone that was more about themselves, and you maybe hadn't wanted to see the truth of it. And part of it could be that you weren't used to maybe being in a more just and fair relationship, and maybe where you did speak your truth and require that both people, take this creative, inspired action in a relationship to maintain balance, where you could have been the person who did the work to maintain balance in the relationship, and they were a little bit more about themselves, and you could have kind of been in denial about that, and the divine wanted you to see the truth. And maybe you weren't someone previously who you could have had a lot of mental conflict about maybe just loving and believing in yourself. And you could have been used to being in a pattern you could have had in life or growing up, and that you saw other people kind of pattern that way of being for you. Was that, isn't it about me being strong about people who might be a little bit more egotistical or defensive, or people who might look like they're successful in the world? Aren't I supposed to kind of like temper my wants and needs, and don't the scales kind of tip in their favor? And that can really end up being a very unhealthy relationship, because It can work if the other people are just and fair, but the whole thing is it comes to bite you. Even if it did seem to work out good, you could say, well, if they don't abuse their position or their power or whatever, and the fact that you do kind of maybe defer to them, the only thing is people can kind of get used to that, and then they kind of get in their ego, and then you should defer more and more and more. And it really should always be about truth and love and justice and fairness and balance. And it maybe was, in order for you to have your dream come into reality, you needed to go through that kind of life experience to learn to see the truth. We're not meant to have these illusions about relationships that, or be more caught up in our passionate, fiery nature or I love them nature. It is about everybody should be able to be truthful and honest and expect justice and fairness in a relationship. And there's no need for the scales to be tipped in someone's favor. It should be a just and fair and balanced relationship. But we can have illusions that we're supposed to kind of indulge people and they kind of have a privileged position in a relationship, and we need to get away from that. And you could have been in a relationship with someone that was hiding that they had a dream, maybe about someone in their past, and they weren't speaking their truth about it. And it could have been that they were hiding that they are kind of more aligned with their worldly egoic nature. And they could have been hiding that if an opportunity came up, oops, I'll turn the camera down a little bit, that if an opportunity came up where they had an opportunity to go get in a relationship with that person who maybe they think is someone kind of loving just like you, but they also maybe weren't seeing things clearly, and they could have been more attracted to them more than they're maybe willing to admit to themselves, either because that person held back from them in the past and it kind of got them in their ego. Like, why aren't you attracted to me? Why don't you want to be in a relationship with me? Maybe kind of juggled them. And if we don't heal from that, it kind of is this thing of, I want to win. That's us being in our ego. I want them to choose me. And even if it's not the same person, it can be people who are like that remind them of people like that. Why do those people hold back from me? Why don't those people want to be in a relationship with me? Why did those people juggle me? I seem victorious and successful, but that's the screwy thing of shadowy energy. You can be attractive. You can have money. Why don't some people want to be in a romantic relationship with you and move forward? Maybe because they believe in love. And you're waiting for that unknown connection and spark. Just like, why aren't you best friends with everybody? Because with certain people, it's not like this math formula. I have this, you have that. We should be in a relationship. We're like a perfect couple. No. It's that unique thing that we can't even explain, But some people could kind of be in their ego about it. And, they're still bound and determined that if there's people who pop up in their life who kind of remind them of people who are like that in their past, they're attracted to going and getting in a relationship with them because they're still kind of in their ego about it, They haven't seen the truth. Why am I drawn and attracted? And why are they drawn and attracted to being in a relationship with people like that? Because it could be lust, it could be greed, it could be immaturity, it could be ego, and they have some lessons to learn in that. And some other people have learned those lessons, and the other people haven't. So I think the shadowy people are listening to their intuition. They have a dream they want to bring into reality. Some of them have taken action on it and spoken their truth about it. Other people are getting ready to do that, to get the justice and fairness they deserve in their life and in their relationships, if it's just within themselves, if it's within romantic relationships, if it's within workplaces. The high vibe people are listening to their intuition to guide their actions. And sadly, some of the people that are in some shadowy energy aren't listening to their intuition. Their judgment is being clouded by their ego. I'm mad. I'm sad. I want what I want. I'm in my lust or my greed or my more immature, indulgent nature. I'm envious. I'm jealous. I'm vengeful. Whatever it is. It's not love that's driving their decisions. And they're thinking that the wheel of fate will go in their favor. And if I didn't say it before, some of them are watching people in their past. It could be some of you, it could be other people. They know other people could be trying to maintain their balance, and they're hoping that instead of listening to their intuition, that other people, instead of connecting in with love, they'll kind of connect in with their more egoic nature and decide they want to be in a relationship, maybe more because of ego or image or status or something, and be manipulated by that. Want to be the winner, want to be the victor. Oh, that's funny. Sometimes, people can't decide and they juggled people. And now they're just sitting here waiting to see who's going to love and believe in themselves and go get the justice they deserve, and which people are juggling if they love and believe in themselves, who are willing to listen to their intuition, that I'm kind of bossy and selfish and greedy and all about myself, and want to come get in a relationship with me because I could look like I'm a boss, and they're willing to settle for being in a relationship with me because they want to look like the winner, or they want the image and the status and the money. And if the relationship they're in and the person they're in relationship with or want to be in relationship with is holding back from them and isn't maybe getting in a marriage with them, and that's what they want, well, are they willing to reject that relationship and be willing to move to get in a relationship with this person? Oh, funny. Uh, let's go ask what the people who are harnessing high vibe Leo energy, who aren't juggling, who have decided, I've seen the truth. I don't want to be with people who juggle. I don't want to be with people who are secretive. I don't want to be in a relationship with people who are bossy and controlling and ego and materialistically driven. I want to be in relationships with loving people. The high vibe people are letting go of people in their life who present themselves as like loving people, but they're not. And they're going to have a new beginning and invest in letting go of that. And if they were someone who was kind of in a relationship, maybe trying to love and encourage people, being just and fair and balanced with people, if they were in shadowy relationships with people who keep turning their back to them and think I can emotionally manipulate you and confuse you, yeah, they're not going to present themselves as loving to those people anymore. And they're going to invest in letting it go. Because high vibe people want the just and fair relationships that they want. And if they're in just and fair relationships right now, and other people might have communicated to them that they want to be in a relationship with them, if they're in a just and fair relationship, they're going to not be tempted by someone in their life or in their past that might have kind of like presented themselves as an option. It's like, no, I'm in a just and fair relationship. I'm not going to be in my ego. I'm going to keep investing in the loving relationship that I'm in. Okay, what about the people who are kind of in some shadowy Leo energy? What do they not see coming in their life? Whoops. Oh, that's way too many. Just like 2 or 3 is good enough. The Queen of Pentacles, because of the Six of Cups. Well, what I think they don't see coming is if they had high vibe people in their life, those people love and believe in themselves. And the queens can talk about our emotional state. So it doesn't matter if the shadowy person is a male or a female. If they know some high vibe people, those people have invested in themselves emotionally to love and believe in themselves, and they've reconciled themselves with the past, and they're gonna move forward in their life. And if they know some shadowy people in their life who might be just like them, who are also motivated by money and materialism, those people might invest in repeating their own patterns. You know, shadowy people are looking for people who are willing to indulge them in their lust and their greed and their pride and their ego and their fear and their insecurity. They're repeating a pattern of way of being in a relationship. And if they had someone they had wanted to get in a relationship with, that they had illusions, maybe would move forward with them in a relationship, in order for that person to move forward with them in a relationship, it would have maybe required them to get a little more emotionally balanced within themselves. And they could decide to go invest in someone who's not requiring that of them. And they're going to go invest in repeating their old patterns. And the high vibe people are investing in people who want to be in deep, meaningful relationships with them. The high vibe people are investing in people who harness high vibe Scorpio energy, and the shadowy people in their life are investing in people who harness shadowy Scorpio energy. I want to be with people where I can be emotionally shallow and superficial. Other people who maybe haven't learned to love and believe in themselves, that I can maybe tempt with money and materialism or my looks or my sex to stay in a relationship with me. And if there is someone that they've kind of been juggling right now who does want to move forward with them in a relationship, some of those people might get in a relationship with someone and get someone else to maybe be a marriage partner to them, but they're going to be repeating a pattern of the past. And if the person they marry is someone who harnesses high vibe Scorpio energy, the same dynamic's going to play out again. The other person eventually is going to work through some of learn the lessons they were meant to learn. They're going to do the work and effort within themselves to listen to their intuition, and this relationship's going to fall apart again because this person wants people who are an illusion about who they are, that they are all these things, and stay in illusion about who they are and not see the truth of who they are. And if they get in a relationship with someone who's loving, the same thing's going to happen again eventually. If they get in a relationship with someone who is willing to get in a relationship with them that's kind of shadowy, that person has their own patterns of ways of being in a relationship. And they also might be someone who wants to get in relationships with people because of money and status and image. And they might be someone who presents themselves as loving, but they're emotionally shallow and superficial. And then it's kind of like, well, you got what you wanted. You got a new relationship. You might have gotten in a relationship with someone who has money and materialism. How's that? It's someone who's superficial and shallow, maybe like you. Someone who isn't very loving. Someone who could be all about themselves and bossy and controlling. Are these things of the world worth it for that? Are you finally willing to see the truth that I need to let go of this illusion that I don't have to be just and fair and loving and everything will still work out for me? It's like, no, it won't. Because the loving people eventually aren't going to give up on their dreams and keep staying in relationship with people like that. And if they get in a relationship with people who are like themselves, they don't like being in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. And it's all to try to teach people to see the truth. High vibe people are investing in new beginnings, in people who are bold and brave and intuitive and just and fair. And the other people are going to have to learn some hard lessons. And eventually, they might decide to let go of their old ways of being, or they won't. But I don't know. It's a core foundational belief of system about why we live our life the way we do. And are we someone who has hope and faith and belief and love? We just might have some lessons to learn. Or are we someone who's decided a long time ago, I don't want to be authentic and vulnerable in the world? I operate from my ego. Odds are those people are never going to change. So there we go. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.